Hello and welcome to Oracle Storytelling. Hi, I'm Sarah of Sarah Wing Intuitive Arts. I do these Oracle storytelling videos on my YouTube channel, and you can find my art across various platforms, including this channel, or you can search Sarah Wing Intuitive Arts and you'll find my website. You'll see me on Instagram and Facebook. Okay. All right, regardless of when you are watching this, I'm recording this on the 1st of August. And I was reminded it's Lammas today. So it's like a celebration in like a witchy calendar. And it reflects on things like cycles of the earth. Colors like golden grain, so like golden colors. Harvest time, these cycles, these life cycles. And I'm definitely feeling like the cycles of life right now. I feel very mired in that, inescapable. When you think of grain, you might also think of like the sickle. And the sickle to me makes me think again of cycles, of life cycles, whether it's our human life cycles of things around us on the earth that we observe, this erosion and renewal that we see all around us. But the sickle made me think of like that traditional like death card, holding the sickle. That's what made me think again, back to cycles, these cycles. Things have to erode to renew, or think of like forest burns, but as it's burning, it's being reseeded with new seeds to grow. And these very warm, feely tones. So like these gold tones, right? And a simple way to kind of feel this harvest energy or cyclic energy, you could just get into the tones of gold. You could put something gold on. You could ring a little gold bell or ball. You could wear something gold. I have this chunk of honey calcite that is not right next to me right now, but it makes me think of honey, and that's that golden rich tone. If you use honey, like putting honey in your tea and just kind of embracing this feeling of shift in energy. You think of gold tones, you think of the sun, which is the ultimate grower and changer of everything on the earth. But yeah, interesting to be reminded of that today. That it is this day of reflection, of harvest and a life cycle. And before I was reminded of that, I was trying to think, well, what will this video be? And I still don't have the title that I'm going to use yet, but, I thought of the word, resurrection, which again, cycles, in traditional tarot, we have the death card, which is death and rebirth. It's the end of one thing and the coming into another. But the idea is one thing must end. Think about seasons. One season must end for the next to come about. And I know that weather is changing a lot. So who knows how many new seasons of change we'll have to embrace. But and I was just feeling this green energy. I was in nature today. It's vastly overdue. So I'm wearing some green, wearing some fairy. I was going to do green eyeshadow, but I didn't have like the right heathery, earthy, leafy shade that I really wanted to do. So we're doing blue. Even the card decks I pulled for today have, see, like kind of this theme in tone and color. So it's like green, aqua-y, blue. I'm just really feeling the energy of these colors. And possibly because I'm feeling such a crux of change and this cycle and this, you know, when you're going through major changes, and all of us are constantly in change. But I'm sure many of you who are watching are going through major changes. If not just being impacted and absorbing layers of change that maybe you see around you. Maybe you're very sensitive or empathic or very involved in different movements, or your mind just, you keep on like gobbling up just this endless stream of information. So we're all changing, and we're feeling different change, and sometimes before we even see the change, we feel it, right? Like we feel that sickle cutting down the grain. We feel there's been a shift. There's been something to start this process of transformation, and I want to use the example of a sickle because it isn't like the most polite or delicate little tool. It's a blade, it's aggressive, right? It's associated with different things that some people might find scary. But if we relate it to just harvesting for food, you're harvesting the grain, and that's going to be, made into breads and made into all these different things that are going to be nourishing. So sometimes we can feel this like slasher energy, and it can feel abrupt. It can hit us like lightning bolts, or can hit us in a way that suddenly shocks us to remember the last shocking image we saw somewhere. But it's just a little reminder, I guess, to say, okay, yeah, not every time things are cut, even dramatically, doesn't mean that the transformation isn't going to become something nourishing, that or the transformation isn't going to go within the hands of you or others you trust, or to serve others, to nourish yourself, to nourish others. Yes. Let's get a little card. So I'm going to draw a card to start us off. I didn't think I was going to start here, but you never know. From the Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle, Abiola Abrams. I have not said her name for a while. Okay. Let me do this. And she has a few decks. This is just the one deck I have of hers. So I guess this is really like coming from this place of we're harvesting. So we're starting out in this harvest mode. And let's kind of see, what are we sensing? I kind of mentioned two polar opposites here of kind of the big thunderbolt of, oh God, like you witness something and you don't know what's going to happen. And then the other sense of, if you were the one cutting the grain or cutting something, your hands would then scoop it up. There'd be intention, there'd be purpose. Where is this being placed? What is the use? Sometimes we witness things, and when we're not directly part of it, it can be even scarier. Okay, so the scary slash things that we're feeling. All right, let's try to err on the side of how will this be transformed, or feel like the word's transmuted into nourishment, put into hands of people that can uplift and give care and nourishment. Oh my God, because seriously, you cannot have I'm talking about two different energies, like black and white kind of. We get altar of fire, good juju, good juju. Hello. And fire, this is beautiful. Altar of fire. Okay. And we're talking about, making this reference to like harvesting the grain, right? And then we're going to make like bread from it or something. So yeah, like hearth, home, fire, like the, working with the grains to then make I've never made from grain, so I don't know. You have to like, I know you have to cook bread in an oven, right? So it's like in the hearth, like baking something, like through this fire, this casting of fire upon these things, these elements that were like broken down and all beat up together in this bowl. But when they're put to the fire, what comes out is good juju. Like really good juju and tasty juju and nourishing juju and juju that people want. This is fire. This is alchemy, right? This is like beautiful transformation, beautiful alchemist, beautiful alchemy. So really keep that in mind and think about that. If something sprung to mind or next time something kind of pops to mind, just think, when this is put to the fire, how is this going to turn into the good juju, the things that I want, that people want? Yeah, gorgeous. I love, there's a lot. I mean, birds are great. We've got all these beautiful trees, so you could think of as like a tree of life, if that resonates with you. In Viking mythology, it's Israel. It's not Israel. It's Israel. I don't know how to pronounce it, but if you know that I'm butchering it. And they got these lovely little pyramids here. I love that I can't remember names of things. That's great. But it makes me think of the EMF blocking pyramids, if you've ever owned those or seen those in a metaphysical shop. And they have bits of, I don't even know what, and they're like covered in some kind of resin, but they're all for like EMF blocking. So there's a cleanness to this too. So even more so, this idea of, okay, if something's, this altar of fire, okay, it's put to the heat. Well, the sun is the biggest alchemist of fire, right? And the heat that it puts out is growth, right? It's going to grow, and anything that is eroding and needs to further erode, it's going to help erode, and everything that needs to grow, it's going to further help grow. And I just like, in terms of like an environmental message, like this EMF blocking is what I'm getting from this, and just the idea of clean, that things are going to come out clean, that things are being cleaned up, clear the air. Maybe, quite frankly, there is some big bugaboo that you have going on with somebody. You don't want to talk about something, like it's a big thing, and you feel like it's just like a big lump in your throat that's now on your back, that now like you carry around in a backpack. Maybe this is also a message to say, hey, whatever you're feeling, this like attack, hefty energy, maybe you can't even speak to it. It's an encouragement to say, clear the air. So much of the time we run these scripts in our head, and they run, and it's like we are constantly running a marathon of these words. And the moment we speak them, some people, it's true that words have power, and the opposite is absolutely true as well, both and. When we speak words, in like this example, like this marathon conversation that we loop, when we speak it out loud, it helps disempower the control it has us locked into. And we can clear the air. Okay, what a cool start. All right, so yeah, I mean, So we are in a cycle where we are, baby girl, we can really get that good juju, okay? We are the master alchemists. We are students of the sun, okay? So I'm going to draw a card from, what is this? Angels and Ancestors by Kyle Gray. The top card, really. All right. So, oh my God, these cards are really hoppy. Hoppy, like hopping. Let me think. The cards like want to just like, they're flinging out every time I touch them. So I'm like, let me get a question, please. Yeah, so with this good juju, yeah, some advice on using this good juju. Yeah, I guess that's so open. Advice on using this good juju. Advice on being in this state of alchemy and transformation. Maybe like, who are we becoming when we work with this good juju alchemy? Or who is an who is, I'm just gonna say without, who's like a master alchemist for us? Sometimes you have two cards really competing. Huh. Oh, okay, this guy. Oh, okay. You know who the master alchemist is? Like who we're becoming, who we can work with? Come on. Come on. This is such a joyful, positive reading. I'm so happy. Ooh, and green. Look at this beautiful green. So, Medicine Guardian, be open to healing information. So, again, like, we think something is this huge attack. But, like, think of the alchemy through this card. We got that good juju coming. Be open to healing information. So, don't, like, when we're in the good juju mindset. Of course, this makes me think of Archangel Raphael. I'm not going to grab the book right now, but this makes me think of Archangel Raphael, who is, of course, like a master healer. Maybe you've called upon him, placed a green light around you, worked with green stones, help work with him to open your heart chakra, which is just a good thing in general. So one idea could be to help receive, be open to healing information. So to keep your heart chakra open, yourself open to healing information, one way that we help open our heart chakra and keep it open and help us receive this healing information is when we, one, slow down, and you can, and as soon as you realize, like, you take any steps to slow down, whatever instinct drops in for you, you'll realize you can continue to slow down. It's a mastery in itself of like, and then I slow down more. Maybe it's just slowing your thoughts. Maybe it's slowing your body. Maybe it's, you know, it's usually those type of things. Maybe it's giving yourself space. But when we do this and we slow down in these ways, when we're in conversation, or maybe we don't even have to be in conversation, we're hearing information, we're going to listen more deeply. When we slow down, we can listen more deeply. And when we listen more deeply, it's going to be easier for us to be open to healing information. And this can be literal healing information that we're searching for when we're trying to heal something in our life or in our bodies, and we're kind of just, we're scrambling. If you're scrambling, the opposite of what logically makes sense to you, slow down. Literally slow down. Slow down. Slow down. We receive so much better when we slow down. So that's just one thing. So receiving this healing information, or it could just be, the healing information could be you're talking, you slow down physically, like your mind, your body, you just slow down in these like micro ways, or just different planned little ways, or you catch yourself going a million miles an hour, either physically or mentally, and you just slow yourself down, pull yourself over, put yourself in park, relax. What will happen is when you slow down in these ways, and then you're engaging in, maybe you're listening to something, maybe you're listening to someone, the information is going to hit you deeply and differently, because you're going to listen deeper. Okay, you're going to be listening from a place that's going to be deep. When you slow down, you're deepening your integrity in the way you listen. You might start really hearing like a ting, a change, not just in the words, but almost maybe even the energy of the people that you're listening to. And that can be very healing. Perhaps there is something that will come out in conversation with somebody who kind of just sits there and listens to you talk all the time, and you never get a word in, or they never get a word in, like one extreme. Or maybe you sit and you really listen to what someone else is saying, and there's somebody who you can kind of go, kind of boom, 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 shoot back and forth conversation. And when you sit and you just listen deeply to what they're saying, maybe you'll realize a lot of what they're saying is not what you really want to spend your time talking about. Or maybe you're spending your time like defending a lot. Maybe it's not really conversations, but like kind of just something you could do, staring at yourself in the mirror and just gesturing. So I think this goes to, just the idea of communication, right? Slowing down so we can really get what we need, whether it's through like different spiritual forms, or if it's like direct communication with another physical being, or I mean just being with nature, being with animals, and just really listening and getting that healing information that just happens naturally, right? Whether we can put words to it and then, have a conversation with somebody and walk away going, I had no idea whatever, because I changed the way that I listened to them. And now it's very healing for me to understand the relationship more, because I really listened to what they were saying and I missed it, for the good or the bad. Okay. Did I know that would happen? Absolutely. Because did my phone fall a few times before I started? Yes. And a few other things happened. Yes. And I had to restart a few times. Yes. Oh, I haven't said it during this cycle yet, so let's just say Mercury retrograde. Because there's so much planetary stuff going on that I have not even bothered to include Mercury in the mix. But I'll say Mercury retrograde. All right, so where's this journey taking us? And this is the deck I'm going to use. Pull a card. So where's this journey taking us? Like, where is it really, leading us? If we lead into this idea that we're in this change and cycle, and we feel it harsher sometimes, but we're gonna like lean into this good juju, transformative, transmuting, and we're gonna lean into getting slower, slowing down, and listening, engaging and listening to another person, in person, not in person, to nature, to ourselves, whatever it is, slowing down and listening deeper than we have before or in a very long time. All of this is healing. So far we got this beautiful healing energy. So where's this, like, where are we journeying? Right guys, right? So stripped down too. I usually have crystals, I usually have charms, and I am feeling this change and cycle so much. I'm feeling this cycle, like sickle cutting away of so much right now that it literally made me not want to bring out more crystals and bring out charms that I usually do. It's very, yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm just in these colors of green and blue right now. It's very change. It's a change. Yeah. My energy is probably different too. All right. So where are we journeying? Maybe that's too big a question. Where do we want to go? Like, where do we want to be? Like, where do we want to really like be? Where do we want to? Not where do we want to be? Want to be Spice Girls song. Yeah, I bet a bunch of us do. Okay, I'm gonna look this up in the book. So I was like, where do we want to be? Because I realized when I'm saying where are we journeying, maybe that was too like. Again, I think fear can come in so easily. So it's like, where do we want to be? But I think it's going to be the same. Explore other realms. Yeah. I think we all, even though the changes we can feel can be very dramatic and overwhelming, we all at the same time, both and, desperately want big change. I mean, that's just how it is. One cultivates the other. You can't have one without the other. It's this very true balance that we feel more than we ever get to see. But where do we want to go? And probably where are we journeying? We're exploring other realms. Yeah. We are literally journeying. Look at this. We have this. We're journeying, we're on water, so it's this water being this emotional body, but we're on the surface and we're riding the waves, and it looks like we have nourishment here. It almost looks like we're going to offer, maybe we're thinking I'm going to have an apple, but maybe I'll offer to one of these birds. I feel like it's more kinship than like this guy got lost in a boat and he's lonely. I think he's really like, hey, I'm just going to start this journey. I want to be somewhere else I haven't seen. I want to see something different than what I'm seeing. Maybe you want to see something different than what you feel like you keep saying or you keep feeling. You want to explore these other realms. So other emotions, other places, physical places, other states of being. But I like the idea of like just grabbing this. I'll read what the book is, but kind of going like, yeah, I need to go explore. And then, there's no suitcase. It's just kind of like, well, got this nice little cloak, might get cold on the water, very practical. And then I might get hungry. Maybe I'll, go grab this branch with some apples on it. Just going to see, like just going. And riding the waves, right? Riding on top of the waves. So not like like hiding out in like submarine life. Like, I don't know. Like, no, with the world, communicating with the world and the creatures of the world that we share the world with. So let's see. This is number 50. Wow, is this the last card? 50. Oh no, there's more. Voyage of Muldoon. Voyage of Maelduin. Where you are is exactly where you should be. Seriously, guys, like for real. I'm like, where are we journeying? Where do we want to go? Like, where do we want to journey? Perfect. Where you are is exactly where you should be. No wonder this card came out. Okay. Do not look for an outcome, but at the wisdom gained on your journey. Okay. I'm going to read the rest, but hell yeah. Hell yeah. Just classic advice, you know, because we don't know what the outcome of anything's going to be, but we can very much gain just novels of wisdom about how we interact and experience life. And by the way, the more we deepen that wisdom, the better we listen to others, the more deeply we listen to others, the more integrity we hold when we listen to others, the more healing information that will resonate in deep wisdom for us will happen when we listen deeply to others. Okay, this ancient tale was written down at an extraordinary time in history when the belief systems of Druid and Christian created a curious literary mix. This overlapping of cultures illuminated the Dark Ages with spiritual voyages of transformation. Yeah, baby, that's what we're doing. We're on this good juju, huge alchemist transformational journey. Hello. I don't know where my energy is. Okay. So this overlapping of cultures illuminated the Dark Ages with spiritual voyages of transformation. Heroes and monks drifted off in symbolic boats, guided by the gods of their faith. This was called the Imram, or Journey of Initiation. For Muldoon, it started with the lower vibration of revenge and ended after a series of tests and trials on various mysterious islands with illumination and peacemaking. The Celtic symbol of the apple branch represents travel to the other world, and the birds are spirit. This is the classic hero's journey, the going and returning of the hero or heroine and their attainment of spiritual transformation, which adds to the wisdom and evolution of their culture. Beautiful. So great expanded view, expanded message of what's been coming up in the cards. So this is what we're on. That hero's, the hero's journey, heroine's journey is basically we become the hero or the heroine in our own life because of the journey. It transforms us, right? The transformation we make. This is what changes us. And because there is so much devastation we can see on the news of change that we have to know is constantly being transformed by larger alchemy, divine love, divine intervention, divine love through people. But I like that it mentions it started with lower vibration of revenge. So a lot of people, I think, want revenge or want death on a lot of people right now. I'm sorry, it's just true. It's not like the politest thing. But this is the sickle energy. You know, the sickle can be symbolic of the cycles of life and death. It can be seen literally as the sickle of like, well, like some slasher sickle thing, or it can be of a harvest, right? And the transformational power of something gets cut down and the alchemy is used to transform, and it becomes nourishment, it becomes wisdom, it propels us forward on our journey, on our hero or heroine's journey, right? When we become the hero or heroine of our tale. I think there's just, it can feel different. And I think it's very easy, it can be easy to confuse it with like, or to say that like it's supposed to be some really cool, like wacky fun adventure, like the hero's journey is it is trials and tests, you know. Maybe for you, your hero or heroine's journey is you're going through whatever length of like a dark night of the soul process. Maybe your alchemy is, it just feels like, you know, so heavy that maybe that's why you feel like, you know, the change feels like a cutting sickle, a sword to you. So maybe this is just a reminder that if you are in the dark night of the soul process, it doesn't mean you're not in your hero or heroine's journey. It doesn't mean that you're going to become your own hero or heroine with this deeper layers of wisdom, which will, of course, benefit your the hero or heroine and their attainment of the spiritual transformation, which adds to the wisdom and evolution, not just of yourself, but of your culture, right? So of those you love and care about, or of those that you'll meet or you'll never meet. The way that you have grown and changed is so deeply impactful. It cannot be erased from your cellular body. You will go forth in these new ways. So this is just, yeah, these are beautiful cards. These are beautiful. Oh my, so happy that this reading is just so dang positive. Come on. Beautiful. Beautiful energy, beautiful, glowing, transformational energy, big energy, like definitely very large, expansive energy, but energy that even though it's large and expansive, we can connect to it. We can connect to, you know, to these larger energies, or these larger like earth energies, sun energies, galactic energies, whatever. We can bond. We can have these, we can make these connections, you know. We can make these connections that become these little dots and these constellations that we follow on our journey. Again, it could be a very harrowing journey to start, or the middle, or what feels like the end, but it's really the beginning. And once one point of transformation alchemizes, things could look so different, and they will look so different. And I think we're seeing a lot of quick transformation, which can just really hijack our nervous system. And that's another reason to really slow down, to really let our nervous system untangle. And if you have certain things you listen to or do that helps relax your nervous system, you might want to do a daily practice of that. Because that, if our nervous system is hijacked, by the way, we can't slow down and listen. We can't really listen. We listen this much compared to when our nervous system is in a calm state, and we can listen this much, and it can grow brighter and bigger, just like the sun. So I hope this reading was helpful. I don't know the last time I did one. It feels like years. But I, like many, I'm in a deep transformational alchemical process of change right now. But I'm just so glowy happy. I'm so thrilled. I mean, just even looking at the colors on these, they're just, They're so nourishing, like yummy, nourishing colors. All right, I'm going to leave it there. And know you are deeply loved. You are always worthy. You just as you are, and being worthy. You don't have to do a thing. You have innate worth. You are always loved. You are part of divine love. You are part of the freaking universe. And yeah, you are deeply loved. Until next time.